So looking at the process, and we'll come back to this, but at the beginning, you're going in on week 1, you're requesting your EHC needs assessment to the local authority. If everything went swimmingly, it's a 20-week process from start to finish, which, if you weren't aware of that, seems like a very long time. I mean, it's over a third of the year. But there are some key markers. Right at the beginning, you've got week 1, you've got week 6. So the way it works, you request your EHC needs assessment. That's either by completing an online form, although some local authorities like you to fill in a form. It's not, Laura's going to talk about this, but you don't have to. You can just write a letter. The school can put in your request for your statutory assessment, or other professional or GP. Your school will often take the lead, particularly if they've been looking at the graduated response. And it's normally led by your SENCO. We do often find, though, that some parents find schools are resistant to starting a statutory assessment process. And we can talk in other sessions about why that might be. But you can bypass that and put in the request directly yourself. And that's why we spent the time making sure you know how you define what is SEND, and what is the benchmark to meet that criteria. It's demonstrating that your child has got those special educational needs and they require provision in order to support them. You will normally, after you've applied for your statutory assessment, the local authority get in touch with the school. They'll be asking for evidence about have they been doing the graduated response. They'll be looking for evidence. They'll want to know what they've been spending out of their budget to support your child. And you might be again asked to fill in a form where you are asked to explain what you think your child's needs are and what sort of support you think your child might need. Within that, by the time you get to week 6, the local authority, there will be a panel of professionals who've looked at the initial trawl of paperwork they've received, and they will decide whether they are going to proceed to a statutory assessment or whether they're going to refuse to assess. At week 6, and it always seems to be on the dot of week 6, you would get a letter from the local authority telling you whether they're going to proceed or whether you have a right of appeal and they are not going to. And we are covering that on a session on appeals. So we will talk you through how to manage that. Assuming you get a statutory assessment at week 6, that's when you will then get appointments. An educational psychologist will see your child and there'll be further reports produced. Somebody from the sensory needs service will typically see your child. They might have already been seeing them, but they would be required to do a further report. There'll be further evidence collection, and then you will find out when the statutory assessment process finishes whether they're going to issue a plan or not. So and you get that decision at week 16. So it's a bit of a wait. So it's a process of gathering. You then, if they say no, you again have the right of appeal, or you get the draft plan. And then it's very important that that's when you check that it's fit for purpose. And that's what we're covering on our next session. So we go